Hello. Good morning. Good day, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever it is for you, whenever you are tuning into this, welcome to this week's edition of Coffee Chat with me. I am Catherine Oster, and I'm so glad you're here. And I really love coffee. How do you take your coffee? I'm curious. Tell me in the comments, how do you take your coffee? Black? Do you like creamer? Do you like a flavor of creamer? Do you put in sugar? Maybe you put in some MCT oil. I'd really love to know. How do you take your coffee? And I'm going to tell you mine. I love it black. Black and really bold tasting. Like, I love the coffee flavor. And if I do use creamer, it's pumpkin spice. And I'm so grateful. My sister-in-law, hey, good morning, Mom. I think I know how you take your coffee. Black. That's where I got it from. Good morning, Annalise. How do you take your coffee, Annalise? This is my question for everybody today. How do you take your coffee? And if you're watching the replay, I want to know. Tell me in the comments. Jackie G, maybe you don't drink coffee. Maybe you take it, maybe you like tea. Tell me, what's your favorite morning drink? Maybe it's hot lemon water. Good morning, ladies. Anyway, I'm so excited yesterday, my sister-in-law. So for those of you that are new to me and might not know me, I farm with my husband and my brother-in-law and his wife, and it's harvest time for us right now. So we're seeing each other a lot, which is really great because, you know, we share a yard. Our houses are a half a mile away, but both of us, we don't often see each other that much. I mean, the guys do, but not the ladies. Anyway, so we've been seeing each other a lot, and it's really great. And my sister-in-law, she was in Lloyd yesterday. She had an appointment, and Lloyd is one of our bigger city centers. And we went over there for supper last night. And I was just about to leave, and she's like, oh, Katie, just wait, I have something for you. And she opens up her fridge, and she hands me a big jug of pumpkin spice coffee creamer. And that is my favorite. And I'm like, thank you so much. Like, I was just such a gift. And so I have some of my coffee this morning. But last night I had a dream about this pumpkin spice coffee creamer. I dreamt that it was the morning and I was getting up and having my coffee, and I pull out the pumpkin spice and it was almost empty. And I was like, well, did she just give me some leftovers from last year? Was like my thought. And I'm like, well, I was really sad about that. And then I woke up, my pumpkin spice was full and sealed, so it was not from last year. It's funny dreams. Jackie G is black coffee. Annalise is cream and sugar. Oh yes, or Cool Whip. I know, when Annalise came to foundation class with me, I introduced her and Carmen to black coffee with Cool Whip on top and some brown sugar. That's also really good. Good morning, Robert. Anyway, okay. Talking about coffee. Now let's get down to real business here. What do I want to chat with you guys about today? Well, I want to talk to you about choice. Choice. Like making choices in your life. So another thing that I'm curious about is, oh yeah, Mom uses sometimes cream. Haha. I did not know that about you. Oh yes, I did. Yes. So choices. When you come up against choices, what is your first response? So there's different levels of choices. So let's play with, like where you're going to eat supper. So I'm just inviting you to acknowledge your choice style right now. So if you're looking at restaurants, let's say you're out with some girlfriends or some guy friends, some friends, girls and guys, and you're going to go out for supper. How do you choose? Like if they're like, well, where do you guys want to eat? Are you kind of like the sit back person? You know, you're kind of like fine to go with the flow. You just allow things, you know, you kind of allow things to show up. Are you the person who is like, I want to go here? Or are you the person who kind of is like, well, I don't know where to go when there's this place and this place, there's so many choices, so you don't really choose? What is that for you? I'm curious. Because one thing that I have learned and discovered is like, we all have a style of choosing. there's different levels of choices we make in our life. You know, a fairly low degree impact is where we're going to eat supper. Whereas, and why I'm bringing this up is because on our farm right now, we're really looking at what are we going to do with our combines, like our machines. Right now we're running two combines, but that means that we usually have to find a hired person. So we need to add another person into our harvest crew that isn't kind of normally around in order to have all the equipment running. So there's that. There's also the money. You know, we're looking after two pieces of equipment, versus getting one. You know, the combines they're making now, like the new ones, they can run a 50-foot header, which is more capacity. They have more capability. We could get one combine and do almost what our two could do. So is that the choice we make? And then we're looking at dollars and cents. Now, I mean, when you get into freaking combines these days, I'm not shitting you. It is like $1 million machine for a new one. So you're like, do I want to commit to that kind of lease payment or equipment payment, you know, to have that? Or do you run two older ones, which is kind of what we're doing right now, which when we actually added up the payments, it kind of works out to the same as one big one. So we're just sitting with all of this. Now, this is not a choice that you're going to make, like go to supper. You're going to make that choice in like 10 minutes. This is a choice that we're really sitting with this is for next year's harvest choice. So one thing that all of us have learned to work collectively on is looking at the future and planning for that. But there's a few energetic dynamics here that I can see we're all doing. First of all, we're trying to make the right choice, which, yes, there is a choice that will maybe possibly fit a little bit better. And this is where if you can tap into the energy, and the energy is your gut feeling, basically. Now, everybody has a different kind of gut feeling. We're all tuned into our gut feeling slightly differently than other people. But, and if you have a hard time trusting that gut feeling, if things maybe didn't turn out in the past and something came up that you judged as wrong, and then you're like, I made the wrong choice. But what I have really worked on getting out of is the right and the wrong. And when you try to get the right choice, it takes you a really long time because you're factoring so many different things and so many elements that are not in your control, actually. You know, and if you took wrongness out of the equation and the choice, you gain awareness from the choice. So let's say we choose to go down to one combine, and we have a harder year with weather-wise, and we don't get a crop off because we only have one combine, and maybe that combine, sure, was newer, but problems can still come up with it. Let's say we were shut down, and then we'd have to, and then we would look at possibilities, like maybe we rent one then. But there's so many factors. So choice creates awareness. So the other thing that we've been trying to do is predict the future. So we're trying to predict the people that we're going to have in our lives next year to know if we're going to have enough operators to keep two, which is not an easy task to do. And I would never ask anybody to commit to us and say, yes, Catherine, we will be there for you next year. I would never do that. But there's another element of magic in play here. The magic that once you choose something, what if then when you actually choose it, the universe will then show up and support you in your choice, And I would do this funny thing with putting on classes. I would look at my calendar and I would try to find the right date to put up a bars class. And then what would end up happening is I wouldn't choose for a long time because I'm trying to find the right date. Well, how do I know what date is right? God damn it. There's no way to know that. There's only one way, and it is to choose. And then it is just to wait and see who shows up. So different people are going to be able to come on a Saturday. Different people are going to be able to come on a weekday. And if nobody shows up, then that's happened. I put up some classes and nobody shows up. It's not that I'm wrong. I did nothing wrong. What actually ends up happening is that day, something else will come up and I'd be like, oh, Jesus, good thing nobody showed up for my bars class because I have to go handle this today. And then I just put up another bars class. And, you know, and everywhere we make money significant. So we kind of have to be like that with our combines. If we're going to stick with 2, then we have to trust that the people will show up, because the people is really the thing that is keeping us from having 2. You know, so you want to get clear on what is holding you back, possibly what you are aware of from stepping into that choice. And then trust. And the only way that you can start trusting that the universe has your back is by starting to ask the universe to show you. And I know maybe some of you think, Catherine, what the fuck are you talking about, this universe thing? Just try it. You know, the universe is the magic that can show up in your life that you can't explain. Now, how did I start playing with the universe? By getting my bars ran. Like, Access Bars is the first, it gets you out of your brain, because your brain is the thinker, and the brain wants to get right and wrong, and it wants to keep you safe. Your brain is not going to allow you to step into something greater that you don't know, because you logically can't understand it. And that is also the part that slows you down from choosing, and that's, the brain is what keeps you in the right and wrong choice. Access Bars is a really brilliant, it's an energetic session where you will lay on a massage table or a zero gravity chair or anywhere, and somebody runs your bars. So they just touch these little points in your head and they pull energy through them, and you start to quiet the brain. You slow it down. And you start to let go of all of these limiting thoughts that are keeping you from making choices in your life. When you don't choose in your life stays very stale and the same. And you might feel very frustrated and like nothing's changing. The choice is what creates the change. I've got a really cool story. So a few years ago, I facilitated a bars class. It was the beginning of October, and there was a gal who came to this class, and anyway, I'd never met her before. She just found me on the Access site, came to the class, and then when she got home, either that night or the next day, she messaged me, and she's like, oh my God, you'll never guess what happened. And I'm like, what? What's going on? And she's like, well, when I chose this class, I made the demand, like money was kind of a thing, like it is for most, like there's a lot of money stuff going on right now. Anyway, money was a thing, and she was like, but she was willing to choose the class. She knew that this class was going to create something for her. And she was like, I made this demand that money show up, and you know, what would it take for my class and my travel to get paid for? And she chose the class, she paid me. And on her way back home, she stopped at the casino. Like, she just had this tug, this awareness, which awareness also for me will show up kind of as a thought. Like, I'll just think, oh, maybe I should stop at the casino. So she stopped at the casino, and she won the money to cover the class. I think she won like $800 on, I think it was machines, to cover, and that covered the class and her travel accommodations for getting to the class. She got that's the magic, you guys. That's the magic. And when you can get out of the thinking and into the energy, into the being, that's when the magic shows up. So, God, I talked a lot about a lot of different things in this 15 minutes. So choosing. What do I want to leave you with? Choice creates your life. Start to recognize how you respond to choices. Whether it's a simple choice where you're going to have supper, do you actually choose, or are you allowing somebody else to choose? Which is not a wrongness. That's okay. But when you start playing more with those simple choices, when it comes time to make bigger choices in your life, like combines, you strengthen the muscle with the simple choices to make the bigger choices. And then the bigger choices, when you're having a hard time choosing and you're stuck, just consider a few things. Are you trying to get it right? What are some things that you need to work with you in this choice? Where are you getting a little bit stuck? What's not clear yet? And also, it might not be the time to make the choice, which is actually true for us with these combines. It's not the time for us yet to make the final decision of what we're going to do, but we are still in conversation. We're still generating the flow around it. The thing that we're going to do next is we're going to try these newer, bigger combines. There's John Deere and Tingley's and New Holland. They're going to bring us their bigger combines to try in the next couple of weeks, and we'll get to sit in them. And then we'll also get more of the energy. But the more conversations we have before we try, then we'll know more. And then get your bars ran, because that's going to allow you to get into the energy of what your choice is going to create more than trying to think your way there. Because your mind only knows what you've experienced thus far in your life. That. And then once you choose, you're going to get awareness. And the universe will support you if you keep asking and allowing and stop trying to control with your brain. Okay, that's all I got for you today. If you have any questions or comments, you know what to do. You can check out bars at accessconsciousness.com/bars. I have a couple of bars classes coming up, October 19th in Strathmore and December 1st in Lake Lenore. And if there's interest, I would totally put up a bars class here. So if you live close to me and you're like, what is this? Can we do this? I'm game. Let me know. You can also just come for a session. You don't have to take the class. You can also come for a session. And they're all over the world. Okay. Chat with you later. Bye-bye for now.